Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a paradigm shift that is honestly pretty mind-blowing. We're going to unpack the hidden connection between human greed, your personal spiritual growth, and, get this, our ultimate purpose as healers in an AI-driven future. So, if you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by your own ambitions or kind of stressed about where humanity fits into a world full of machines, you are absolutely in the right place.
All right, let's start with a really personal anxiety that pretty much all of us deal with. Why in the world do we struggle so much with selfishness, especially when we desperately want to do good? It's like this heavy weight of personal desire just pulls you down, right when you're trying to hold on to high ideals and live a life that actually helps people. It's such a frustrating paradox. You want to be completely selfless, but then you get caught up in your own needs, and it just leaves you feeling stuck and honestly pretty heavy.
Well, that brings us to our first major paradigm shift, and it completely flips how we view greed. Instead of looking at it as this shameful flaw or some terrible sin you have to painfully root out, greed is actually a massive indicator of something incredible. It literally means you possess a massive, untapped potential energy. It shows your soul has a really large spiritual mass. You aren't fundamentally broken, you're just incredibly powerful, and you simply haven't learned how to channel all that intense energy the right way just yet. Moving into Section 1, the meaning of greed, transforming mass into action. Let's unpack what this spiritual mass actually means for us.
The really crucial piece here is understanding why all that massive energy manifests as greed. Deep down, your soul instinctively knows it's here to help others and kind of clear out its karmic debts. And because your spiritual mass is so huge, you feel this intense, almost overwhelming urge to just knock out this massive goal immediately. You want to run out and save the world before breakfast. But here's the trap. Rushing this process before you've built up your own inner capability creates a huge blind spot. When you're driven by this greed to just achieve sudden enlightenment or make some monumental impact overnight, you literally blind yourself to the necessary step-by-step growth right in front of you. You end up stumbling because you're staring at the finish line instead of the road. Okay, on to Section 2, knowledge versus truth, the inner battle. Let's look at what's actually blocking us from managing this massive spiritual energy.
We need to contrast two completely different inner forces here: human knowledge and universal truth. Knowledge is basically everything you already know: your education, your opinions, your intellect. Now, when you encounter pure truth, which is just a natural law or a universal principle, your existing knowledge actually throws up a wall. It gets arrogant. It tries to analyze, dissect, and argue with the new concept. Truth, on the other hand, isn't something you debate. It has to be absorbed cleanly and purely, totally without judgment, kind of like a sponge soaking up water. When your intellect constantly fights the truth, you're literally blocking your own growth.
So, how do we stop this internal tug of war? You have to follow 3 super simple but really profound steps. First, consciously empty your mind of that argumentative existing knowledge. Just hit pause on it. Second, physically turn off the outer distractions, and yes, that definitely means putting your phone away. And third, listen completely. No judging, no trying to instantly figure out how to monetize or use the information. Don't force it. Just let the words flow in naturally. Next up is Section 3, building inner density, the physics of wisdom. By following those steps, something amazing happens. This internal transformation operates almost like spiritual physics, and it happens chronologically. It starts with step 1, absorbing truth cleanly without all that intellectual resistance we just talked about. As you do this over time, you hit step 2, building inner density. Think of it like packing a snowball tightly. You're compressing high-quality truth directly into your spirit. When that density hits critical mass, step 3 triggers completely automatically. Wisdom naturally opens up. It is never forced. And then finally, step 4. Because you possess true wisdom, you effortlessly know exactly how to help others when the moment arrives. And this leads to such a beautiful realization. If you patiently listen to someone, really taking in their pain without instantly interrupting or projecting your own ego onto them, your built-up inner density does all the heavy lifting. You don't have to scramble around to manufacture some clever response. The exact right words, perfectly tailored to heal that specific person in front of you, will just emerge, totally effortlessly, right when they finally ask for your help. The wisdom overflows, simply because you are full. All right, bringing us to Section 4. Humans in the AI era, our ultimate role. So how does all this personal, spiritual physics tie into our modern anxiety about AI?
We hear a lot of worry about losing our jobs to machines, right? But let's look at the fundamental difference between us. AI and robots are absolutely incredible at processing physical tasks, doing complex logistics, and moving fixed data around. They can even mimic human conversation now. But what they absolutely cannot do, like no way, not ever, is absorb, hold, and process the deep, complicated emotional and spiritual energy of a human being in pain. A robot processes data. A human being absorbs a soul's frustration. That is a fundamentally different mechanism.
And this perfectly outlines where society is heading. As AI steps in to automate basic physical labor and survival tasks, humanity is actually being freed up. Freed up to do what, exactly? Well, true human work. Because as society advances so rapidly, people are going to face a massive wave of mental and spiritual frustration. We're talking widespread distress that a machine simply cannot fix. Because of that deep societal ache, acting as counselors, active listeners, and spiritual healers won't just be some niche hobby. It's going to become the single most vital, highly valued role in our entire civilization. Which brings us to Section 5, the path forward, patience, and purpose. How do we prepare for this right now? Honestly, the most empowering takeaway from this whole explainer is this simple reassurance. You don't need to act hastily. You don't need to force your growth or panic about your selfish tendencies. If you just enjoy the process of cleanly listening to truth, absorbing knowledge without constantly arguing with it, and patiently building up that inner density, you are doing exactly what you need to do. Your spiritual mass is turning into true capability one step at a time.
So, I want to leave you with this thought to ponder. Every single time you quiet your mind and truly listen, you're building a massive reservoir of wisdom. As that inner density grows, whose spirit will you be perfectly equipped to counsel and heal in the days to come? The world is going to need you. Keep building that density. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.